hard thing to sustain, and there's a lot of turnover. The next thing is career disc, which I talked about at first. If you're in Silicon Valley, and that's one reason California has done so much better than Massachusetts, things tend to be more seamless. In other words, people work for one guy today and the guy works for him tomorrow, and there tends to be more interchange in that environment. But California is one of the few places in the United States that does that. Most places are more hierarchical, and if you wind up being in the small company world, you stay there. So there's a career risk. The final and I think most important thing is the temperamental risk. You can do it. Do you want to do it? And I run into this all the time with people crashing and burning because they just can't stand what they have to do in a small business. The stress kills them. Amar Bede, who wrote a book called Entrepreneurship that was published at Oxford, has a wonderful phrase. He said, as I look at it, the number one requirement is the ability to live with ambiguity. Now, what does that mean? That means you don't know. That means you probably won't know for a long time, and you won't know on a lot of subjects. Whether you're going to sell the account, whether you're going to get foreclosed on, whether the new employee will work, it goes on and on. So you have to be able to live with what's called ambiguity, or in the business term, uncertainty. If that's not something you like and are comfortable with, this is no profession for you. So that's the first thing. Now let's go to the 8 qualities. I've taken a look over the last 30 years at the qualities. Well, the first 2 things you need are a combination of enthusiasm and endurance. And what does that mean? Well, if you're not enthusiastic about what you're doing, nobody else will be. And the Kmart buyer, when Kmart was the Walmart of its age, said to me when I was selling strollers to him in the 70s, I like people to come into entrepreneurs. They care about it. Most sales guys from places like GE are only thinking about their golf game, and they just want to get me off their list. So yes, you're not that good. You're not that big. There's a lot wrong with you, but you care about it, and that's important. Endurance is very important. Most people think entrepreneurs are going out there and beating people up and getting new things. No, entrepreneurs are getting beat up and knocked around and everything goes wrong. And they can't tell you the truth about the fact that they're really better than you think, because if they told you what was really going on, you'd stop doing business with them. So you've got to be able to take a pretty good pounding. And it is a long-term thing. The third quality is conclusiveness. Now, I consider conclusiveness very different than decisiveness. Decisiveness is that kind of Jack Welch, bang on the table, we're going to do this thing, which he was superior at. I mean, amazing man. Conclusive is you have to make decisions and move on. Peter Drucker said, the key to a good entrepreneur is to be able to see a little bit farther in the fog than the other guy. And that's it. You got to decide. You got to move on. And as Harry Truman used to say, they used to ask Harry, they said, well, how did you sleep at night? There's nothing I can do at night. I have to go to sleep and get up the next day. And I think that's one of the reasons he was a calm, cool, good decision maker. Whether you believe in his decisions or not, he was calm and cool and could move on. That, again, relates to living with ambiguity. We go then to leadership and independence. You've got to be a leader. And who's a leader? Well, you find a leader's a guy that when they do something, people follow them. And if you aren't that person, don't do it, because you've got to lead the charge, whether you're with a customer or a supplier, begging a banker, dealing with an investor, or whatever you happen to be doing. The other quality is interesting is independence. You really have to be independent. Everybody says, oh, I like to be on my own and so forth. Well, can they? Do they like to be on their own? Because you really are as an entrepreneur. You're really alone. You're not with a group. Everything is really up to you. And if you share too much, you're going to lose. The fifth point, and this is really important, is product pride. And I think that Warren Buffett says this best. He says, I like to invest in fanatics. I like to invest in people who really love what they're doing. And he talked about Nebraska Furniture. This is like Jordan Marsh in Boston. They had this woman who was 90 years old. They bought it. They got rid of her. She set up a competing company. They had to hire her back at 93. And it was a great story because she had the enthusiasm. I mean, they got a great furniture executive and all that, but he was just blah. You have to have product pride. That takes you a long way. That's why you make your products better. If you take a look at the companies that have trouble, when Walmart stopped being Walmart, which they're no longer today, what happened? Sam Walton stopped being proud about people liking to work there and having the best prices. Walmart doesn't have the best prices because they don't have the pride in their product. Now, buyers have a great nose for smelling a salesman with enthusiasm and a backlog. I mean, that's what they do. So if you have this enthusiasm, that will cover a lot. If you don't have it and you're thinking about golf or buying a boat and all the rest of it, you're going to crash and burn. The next point is marketing.